And welcome back to another episode of the Real Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Jacob O'Connor. Real Conversations is a podcast for those dedicated to doing hard things and building a meaningful life. We believe greatness isn't given, it's built, brick by brick, day by day. Here, we share the lessons and stories meant to help you on your journey to living your best life. And this episode is going to be about an opportunity that you have right now. We are heading into 2026. This episode will be released just prior to New Year's. It is important, in my opinion, that you consider a couple of things I'm about to share with you. It takes a year. It takes at least a year to make any sort of meaningful change in your life. That's a long time horizon that is hard for most people to comprehend. Yet when you sit down and you start writing out goals for the year, they flow easy and you can create a long list and all these ambitious and awesome things that you're going to do over the course of 12 months. But the sad and unfortunate reality is that after a month or two, January, February, 99% of people will have fallen off and they will not hit their goals. They will have given up by that point. This year can be different. You have that opportunity. You have the ability to make meaningful change in your life over the next 12 months. And it's important that you think about this and that you give it the due diligence and the necessary thought, that you're intentional about it. I know there's a lot of you listening that have things in your life right now that you don't like. There's things that you want to make changes for. There's things that bug you, bother you, things that maybe you've even started to lie to yourself about, things that you've thought, you know what, it is the way it is. But the truth is, you could do something about it, but there's a cost to that. There's a price you have to be willing to pay. And that's what holds most people up. It's the choice of convenience in this moment or sacrificing this moment for the future to create a better future. You have the opportunity to do that right now. I don't care what your goals are. I don't care if your goal is to start a business, if your goal is to run a half marathon, if your goal is to repair a relationship, if your goal is to read 5 books. It's agnostic. It doesn't matter what specific goal you're setting. The truth of all of this is the same. It's going to require consistency. It's going to require dedication. And often, in many cases, it's going to require you cutting things out of your life. I think a lot of people look at goals, and I know I've done this myself too. I think, what do I need to add? What do I need to add to my routine to become the person who could achieve this goal that I've set for myself? And I think that's a healthy way to think about and approach goal setting. But there's an important piece. It's not just addition. Often, sometimes what can be even more important is subtraction. What do you have to cut out? What are things you're doing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that do not align with these goals, that are not going to help you get closer to achieving these goals? What do you need to remove? What habit, what place, or maybe even who? All of these things create the environment in which you operate in on a daily basis. These things, when you're around them enough, subconsciously affect you. You don't even start to see them anymore, but they become the environment. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're the average of the way that you spend your time. You're the average of the content that you consume. All these things across all these domains are true. So it's not just, I need to wake up and run 5 miles tomorrow and that's going to make the difference in my life. It's maybe removing the cookies from the shelf, removing the alcohol from the fridge, removing the person who wants to sit and chill and do the same old thing that you've done every weekend for the last 5 years, and choosing to do something different. Choosing to make a change that disrupts the pattern that you've been so oblivious to because it's become normalcy, it's become routine. This is something that I know I've had to do. There are sacrifices that have to be made along the way. That is the price that you pay for having any sort of goal that you want to achieve. The key is the goal meaningful enough to make it worth the sacrifice, to make it worth the pain, to help you to endure through difficult and tough times. That is something I want you to consider when you're making these New Year's resolutions. I want you to think deeper than just a number on the scale. I want you to think deeper than just accumulating or acquiring something. I want you to think about, on a deep level, what does this mean to you? What would it mean for your life? What would it mean for your family? How could you be different in a better way to make the world a better place? Each of you guys listening to this, you aspire to do something more with your life, and that is the thesis of the show. You have an individual ability to make an impact. We all can impact one person. In making a change in your life for the better, making a positive change over these next 12 months, you have the ability to do that with those people that are in your circle, or with the people that may be coming into your circle in the future over the next 12 months. How would your life look different if you were to make 5 goals, to look at them, to analyze them, to remove the fear from them? I know that's a big piece. It's not easy to sit here behind a camera with a microphone, record myself saying these things, and upload that. But I have to believe in my core that no matter how many times I may mess up or I may not word things perfectly. I have to believe that because I'm trying to do something positive, that it impacts at least one of you positively. And that's enough for me to make this worthwhile, to make myself willing to endure whatever difficulties I may have to go through. There is a component to fear to these things, not just with the podcast, but with setting some of these goals. People may start to look at you differently. People that, again, as I referenced before, you've established these patterns for. You have this unspoken communication that is the basis of your relationship, the way in which you interact, your unspoken behaviors that you guys do together. You're going to interrupt that pattern if you set some of these goals. And that can be scary. That, as I mentioned, can force you to cut people out, or people may leave. And those two things are scary. You might be putting yourself out there this year. You might be trying to start a business. You might be trying to start a podcast. You might be trying to do something that other people are going to see you trip and stumble and fall. And the fear of that, that's real. It feels embarrassing. It is hard. But it's important to remember that anyone who's ever accomplished anything has gone through these things the same way that you have. They had to start somewhere. They had to start at the beginning. They had to start from scratch. These skills, unfortunately, are not something that you're just born with. Whatever that goal is that you're trying to do, whatever that ultimate vision is that you have for yourself, you can't just wake up one day and be that person. You can't wake up fully formed with all of those traits and capabilities already in place, ready to go. The stumbling blocks, the roadblocks, the things you stub your toe on, the embarrassing moments, the failure, all of that is what shapes you into the person along the way. It's a part of the journey. Who you become in the process is more important than what the goal was itself. I know I'm kind of rambling, but I really feel like all of these things affect your ability to achieve these goals that you set. I think people haphazardly set these goals thinking about the outcome, thinking about how good it would be to achieve these things or to be that person, but they don't think about the cost. They don't think about what they might have to sacrifice, and they don't think about how they might have to change their environment and what that may look like and how that shift may feel. Those are the downside. Those are the cost and the price of the goal that you're setting. And I think if you realize that on the front end, it can help you to game plan. It can help you to figure out what you can do differently to create the environment, to set yourself up for success to where this year is actually different than the previous years. This year is different than 2025, 2024, and all of those years where you set the goals and you kind of half-heartedly made an effort and then it got difficult and it wasn't convenient anymore. And you just started to kind of slowly lie to yourself a little bit. And you told yourself that, you know what, that goal wasn't that important. That goal didn't matter to me that much. It was a stupid goal to set in the first place. And you just kind of let yourself coast. And it doesn't have to be that way. You can set yourself goals that matter. And you give yourself 12 months, a long time horizon like that. And you commit to every day making incremental daily progress and allowing that to compound. And that can build upon itself. You remove things. You add in the right things. You get around the right people. You commit to it. You have an accountability partner, someone you check in with, someone you share your goals with. You put it out there online even if you have to. If you can't find someone to hold you accountable, let the internet do it. Let people online do it. You put those things out there. You set yourself up for success. You commit to small, daily, bite-sized pieces. That's how you eat an elephant. That's how you do it. You break it down. Everyone asked me, how do you run 100 miles? It's the same way as anything. It's the same way as these goals. You make it small enough. You take one step at a time, 1 mile at a time, and that builds upon itself. Then eventually you look back and you realize how far you are, and you've got that momentum. That momentum starts to carry you throughout the year. You've got new people around you. You've got new opportunities around you. Think of all of the great things that could happen in these next 12 months if you put yourself in a position to win, to accomplish whatever it is that's meaningful to you. Like I mentioned, it doesn't matter to me what your guys' goals are. It just matters that you set yourself up, put yourself in the position to where you can actually achieve them. I think this is obvious, but I do want to just mention, I don't have this all figured out. These are just a couple of things I've started to figure out through all of these interviews, getting to talk with successful people and, kind of analyze their story and try and apply that to my own life, my own journey. These are just a couple of things I've picked up along the way that I think are really important for you guys to consider as we head into this new year. It's the same as the last 2 or 3 years. John and I will sit down, my business partner, and we'll share some of our goals for this upcoming year. And we'll also talk about last year's goals, which ones we hit, which ones we missed, and our game plan to make them different. And we'll put ourselves on the line like that for you guys. We'll put some skin in the game so that you guys can follow along. You guys can keep us accountable. And if you want us to do the same for you, you can just reach out and we'll do that for you. You can find me on Instagram at Jacob O'Connor. The podcast is at Real Period Conversations. I've got some exciting things coming up in 2026. There's one pertaining to the podcast I'm actually working on that I'll be announcing in the next episode. But I just want to encourage you guys, this year will be different if you put yourself in the position to win. I'm rooting for all of y'all. I love the community that's formed around the podcast. I want to see everyone win. Go for it this year. Remove the fear. Get the right people in your corner. Cut out the people that don't need to be there. Create the right environment for yourself to win and go for it. Go all in. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. There's going to be difficult moments, but so much can change in 12 months if you just commit to that. All right. I'll see you guys next episode.